Hi guys, welcome back to ABOC Studio. I want to talk about the pattern a little bit because if you're familiar with Tapestry crochet, this pattern is going to be a little bit unusual. I've figured out that if we just convert the text into the alpha pattern that are meant to be used for knit or cross stitch, it doesn't really work with crochet because first of all, even with single crochet or half double crochet, the stitches are not exactly square, so it always turns out a little off somehow. And also if we want the tapestry to look cleaner, we're gonna need higher resolution, means a lot more stitches and a massive area to work on. And that is just impractical, especially if you're working on a garment with smaller fabric like a hat. So the alpha pattern that I created for this project is not only a highly pixelated version of the phone, but also a customized design for double crochet. As you can see here, the Von Dutch is pretty large, and I think if we just break this down into two lines, we can put it on a tote bag, and this apple is perfect for a tote bag or like a tube top. For this project, we're gonna need Aran yarn, category number 4, medium weight, and the 4.5mm crochet hook. I'm using yarn from this brand, and this color is lime juice. We're gonna need about half of this ball of yarn for each hat. This is actually how much black yarn we will need, so it's just a little bit. I would say that about 5 to 6 grams or 20 meters of the black should be more than enough. The one I have here is from the same brand and the same product line as this main yarn, the green. But if you have to find the black from other brands, you have to make sure that not only it should be from the same category, number 4, but also you should put the strands together to make sure that the black is not thinner than the green. Because sometimes yarn from the same category still can be a little different in thickness. So if the black is a little thicker than the green, that should be fine, you can use it. But if it's thinner, then you should find another yarn. Especially when you try to pinch them, like so. The black should be exactly the same or a little thicker. It should not be thinner than the green. Alright? Then we're gonna need 2 stitch markers, and then of course scissors and yarn needle. Before we start, please keep in mind that the pattern will be the same for all the sizes for the first few rows. And also, make sure that the loop of the slip knot is adjustable with the working yarn, not with the tail, because we're gonna work several stitches into the first chain. If this loop is adjustable with the tail and not the working yarn, it's gonna create a problem. So make sure that this loop is adjustable with the working yarn like so, okay? Now chain 3, 1, 2, 3. The chain loop should not be too tight. Now we're gonna make 12 double crochet into this first chain. So yarn over, insert the hook in the first chain. I'm taking 2 loops of the first chain. With the working yarn, bring our loop. With 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's the first double crochet into this first chain. Now we're going to make another one into the same place. Double crochet, another one, and keep working in the same place until you have 12 double crochet. For this pattern, we're not going to count this chain 2 in the beginning of the round as 1 stitch. So make sure that you count only the double crochets, okay? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will make 8 more. And also you can see that when I work into the first chain, I will also work over this tail, like so, okay? And work a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That is how it should look like, and let's check one more time to make sure we have 12 double crochet. So we're not going to count this chain 2, we count the double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now to finish the first row, we're going to insert the hook into the first double crochet. So not the chain 2, okay? You want to find the first double crochet right there and insert the hook under the V on top of the first double crochet, like so. With the working yarn, bring our loop. Bring that same loop through the loop on the hook. That's a slip stitch, and we would want to fasten that slip stitch by pulling on the loop on the hook and the working yarn. And that's how we tighten, and we can no longer see the V of the slip stitch. It's just a little bump here. And also at the same time, when you tighten the slip stitch, you will return the V on top of the first double crochet so that we can work in there later. Now let's move on to the second row. We're going to need to turn the work. On the second row, you will see that we're going to need a chain 2 and then 2 double crochet into each stitch. So this is the first stitch. I'm going to need to work 2 double crochet under that V on top of this first stitch. So 1, 2, and then the same thing, 2 double crochet in this next stitch. 1 and 2, and the same in this next stitch. 1 and 2. That's how it should look like. We have 2 double crochet in each stitch. And repeat the same thing until the end of the row. Work 2 double crochet into each stitch, and I will meet you by the end of this row to show you how it's like. Okay, so this is how it looks like by the end of the row. Before we join the round with a slip stitch and tighten, I would recommend you to always count the number of stitches you have after each row to make sure that it's the same as the pattern. So you count every double crochet, but remember that we don't count this chain 2 in the beginning as a stitch, okay? So count from this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way until this last stitch, and make sure that you have the right number. Now we're gonna join the round. Insert the hook in the first double crochet, so the first double crochet under the V on top of it. With the working yarn, bring our loop. Bring that same loop through the loop on the hook, and that is the slip stitch we're gonna need to pull to tighten. Again, turn the work and move on to row 3 with a chain 2. And then we're gonna work 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, like so, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Repeat the same thing all the way until the end of the round, and I will meet you right there to show you how it's like. Here I did 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Now I will do a double crochet in the next stitch, and the last stitch would always be 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Now again, let's count the number of stitches and make sure that you have the same number of stitches as the pattern. Okay, slip stitch into the first double crochet, bring our loop, bring that same loop through the loop on the hook. Don't forget to tighten the slip stitch, like so, and then turn the work. We start row 4 with a chain 2, and then you will see in the pattern that we're gonna work a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitch, like so. And then in the next stitch, we're gonna work 2 double crochet. Okay, and then repeat the same thing. Double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then repeat the same thing, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochet in the same next stitch. Okay, and let's repeat the same thing all the way until the end. From row 5, the pattern will be a little different for each sizes, but the technique is pretty much the same. There's nothing new. Make sure that you count the number of stitches by the end of the row, and I will meet you on the next step. I'm working on a size small, so that's why I have 5 rows here for the top of this hat. And from the next row, we're gonna start making the side of the hat, which means that we no longer have to increase the stitches. So we're just gonna put 1 double crochet into each stitch across, slip stitch to join around, tighten the slip stitch, and then turn the work. Now before we finish this with slip stitch to join around, we're gonna first need to mark the first stitch. It's gonna be in black. So right here, where the slit, you would want to fold this piece in half. You see the slit right there? You will find the stitch on the exact opposite side and mark that stitch. So it's going to be this stitch, and I will mark the V on top of it. Now this doesn't have to be precise, so you don't have to count the number of stitches on each half of the circle. It doesn't really matter, so we just have to eye it. And then you want to count on this side of the circle, okay? Not this one, the one that from this mark to the loop on this loop on the hook, right? So on this side, you want to count from the stitch next to the stitch that you just marked. So from this one, and we count 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you mark that stitch, mark the V on top of that double crochet. That will be the first stitch that we work in the black yarn, which is also the tip of the letter B. So from the next row, you're going to start seeing the alpha pattern on the screen. The pattern is upside down because we work the hat from the top down, right? Now I am going to join this round with a slip stitch and then tighten the slip stitch, turn the work, chain 2, and we're going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch across, so like that, and all the way until we are closer to this mark stitch, and I will meet you there to show you how it's like. Okay, so here you can see that I have 2 stitches left before I reach this mark stitch, and we're going to work this mark stitch in black. However, in order to work a stitch in black, we're going to need to switch the yarn color from the previous stitch right next to it. Okay, so it's going to be this stitch. So let's just finish this double crochet. Okay, and then to switch yarn color in this stitch, you're going to work an undone double crochet, which means we start normally with yarn over, insert the hook, bring our loop. With 3 loops on the hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now instead of yarn over and pull through 2 loops to finish this stitch, we're gonna insert the new yarn, the black yarn right here. You hold the yarn like this, and then you just slide this loop into the 2 loops on the hook, like so. And then you're gonna gently tie this tail together with this green yarn. Like so. And you want to gently tie them together, just gently, okay? Don't pull too hard on them. I would recommend you to put the 2 yarn balls, the black and the green, separate from each other. So don't put them right next to each other, because when you pull the yarn, they might twist up. It wouldn't be so nice to work with it, and you will have to untangle them frequently. So if you want to prevent that, you can put them in 2 different directions or in 2 different baskets, something like that. So now we're gonna drop this green yarn, pick up the black yarn. the green yarn will become the resting yarn. And when we're resting the yarn, we want to bring it with us when we're working the stitches. And we do this by simply bring it together with the stitch where you're going to insert the hook. So we're going to insert the hook into this next stitch, right? So you put it right there so that when you insert the hook, you can bring it with the stitch that you are making, right? You can see in the alpha pattern that here we're gonna need only one black stitch. That's why we not gonna finish it but make an undone double crochet. So, oh, oopsie. For a double crochet, you yarn over, insert the hook, bringing the green resting yarn with you, like so. Bring our loop. And you can see that the stitch work not only where you insert the hook but also over the resting yarn, right? And then work an undone double crochet by yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then you're gonna drop the black yarn and bring up the green yarn, okay? And now the black yarn will become the resting yarn. That's why you're gonna bring it with you together with the row. And then with the green yarn, we yarn over and pull through to finish the stitch. Now, before moving on working with the green yarn, we're gonna pull on the resting yarn gently, like so, to finish the stitch. And then work a double crochet in this next stitch, bringing the black yarn with you. Yarn over, insert the hook. You can see the black yarn is also on top of the hook. Bring our loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loop. And as you can see in the alpha pattern, we're gonna need to make 16 of these green stitches before we need another black stitch. So let's do that. I'm just gonna repeat the same thing. And I will meet you when we have about 14 of this green double crochet, okay? Here I have 14 green stitches, counting from the stitch next to this black stitch. I will need 2 more stitches before I make another black stitch. So that's why I'm just gonna work a finished double crochet. And then in order for this stitch to be a black stitch, we're gonna need to switch the yarn right here in the previous stitch next to it, this one, right? So I work an undone double crochet, still bring in the black yarn with me, and then I'm gonna drop the green yarn and pick up the black yarn. Bring our loop, gently pull on this green yarn to fix this stitch, like so, and bring it with me as the resting yarn. Now again, we're gonna need only 1 black stitch here, so we're gonna work an unfinished double crochet, like so, and then again, drop the black yarn and pick up the green yarn. Yarn over, pull our loop to finish the stitch, gently pull on the black yarn, and right now when you look at the alpha pattern, this is gonna be the tip of the letter T. So what we do is that we're gonna bring this black yarn with us for only 2 more stitches. So 1, 2, like so, okay? Now you're gonna completely drop this black yarn. There, you don't have to bring it with you anymore until the next row when you need to pick it up for the next row of the alpha pattern. So just leave it there like this and work with the green yarn only. From now until the end of the row, there's nothing new. You just put 1 double crochet into each stitch across, and I will meet you by the end of the row to show you how it's like. I'm at the end of the row and you can see I have 2 stitches left. Let's do it together. And we're gonna join the round into the first stitch just as usual. Tighten up the slip stitch, turn the work, and chain 2. And then repeat the same thing, work double crochet into each stitch across all the way until we are about 2 stitches away from this black stitch that we see, and I will meet you there to show you what to do next, okay? I have 2 stitches left before I get to this black stitch, and as you can see in the alpha pattern, this row is pretty much the same as the previous row where we have only 2 of these black stitches. You're gonna need to pick up the black yarn right here 2 stitches before this stitch. You're gonna again bring the resting yarn together with the stitch that you make. So like that. Gently pull on the resting yarn. And then on this stitch, we're gonna need to switch the yarn so we work an unfinished double crochet. And then we pick up this black yarn. But there's a trick to make the tapestry stitches look better. So first we're gonna need to determine which side is the wrong side. And you will see here that this side is where this tail is sticking out, and also it's where we pick up the black yarn from the previous row. So there's a little bit of black sticking out here. So this is gonna be our wrong side. And the side where it's cleaner, you can see there's no yarn sticking out, and this is gonna be our front side. And I would recommend you to put a stitch marker maybe right here. Like so. It's going to remind us that this side is the right side and this will be the wrong side. So why is it important? It is important to know which one is the right side to pick up the black yarn in the right position. Let's say that we're just going to randomly pick up the black yarn like this, and you can see that looking from the right side of the piece, this black yarn is under the green yarn, which is the color of the background, and that's not what we want. You're gonna need to change the position of the black yarn, and you pick it up the other way. You will see that it's on top of the green yarn, looking from the front of the piece. When you pick up the black yarn, make sure that it is not under the green yarn looking from the front of the piece. You want it to be on top of the green yarn, like so, when looking at the front of the piece. Because on the next row, the front of the piece will facing you. Right now, the wrong side is facing you. But in the next row, the right side will facing you, so it's always nice to know which is the right side and which is the wrong side. And you see here, right now, looking from the front side, the black is on top of the green yarn, and that's what we want. So let's pick up the black to finish this stitch. Gently pull on the green yarn to close the previous stitch. And then again, we need only one black stitch. So that's why I'm gonna work an unfinished double crochet, okay? Now just the same way, you drop the black yarn and pick up the green yarn, but still making sure that the black yarn is on top of the green yarn looking from the front of the piece. If you pick up the green yarn like this, and you look from the front side of the piece, you see that the green yarn, which is the background, is on top of the black yarn. That's not what you want. You want to change the position so that the black is on top of the green, like so, looking from the front. It may seem a little tedious at the first place, but once you get used to it, it's gonna be intuitive. So just make sure that you do it right in the first steps. Yarn over and pull through to finish the stitch, and then gently pull on the black yarn to finish the stitch. And don't forget to bring the resting yarn with you when you're working the stitches. Yarn over, insert the hook, bring in the resting yarn, and finish a double crochet. Do the same thing. Once in a while, if you feel like the black yarn somehow is a little loose and stick out, just gently pull on the black yarn or the resting yarn to reposition it under the stitches, okay? And let's do the same thing all the way until we are about 2 stitches away from this black stitch where we need to change color again. And I will meet you there to show you what to do next. So here I have 2 green stitches. I will do 1 finished double crochet and then a unfinished double crochet with the green yarn. Okay, now drop the green yarn and pick up the black yarn, making sure that looking from the front, the black is on top of the green yarn, like so. And finish the previous stitch. Gently pull on the green yarn and bring it with you for the next stitch. Work an undone black stitch because we only need 1 stitch here. Again, drop the black yarn, pick up the green yarn, still making sure that the black yarn is on top of the green yarn looking from the front. If you pick up the green yarn like this, looking from the front, you see that the green yarn is on top of the black, so you will need to reposition the yarn to make sure that the black is always on top of the green yarn looking from the front. And that's why it's very convenient to have the stitch marker here to remind you that this side is the right side of the hat. And finish the stitch with the green yarn. Gently pull on the black yarn to finish the stitch. Bring the black resting yarn with you for 2 more stitch. And again, you can drop the black yarn. But you can see here that if you drop it here, it will stick out from the front side of the hat. So you need to make sure that it is on the wrong side, like so. Work double crochet into each stitch across with the green yarn. So here, that's how it should look like, okay? So that it's clean on the front side. So here we are, 2 stitches away from the next black stitch. Now I'm gonna pick up the yarn right here, bring it with you as the resting yarn, and work the next double crochet over the black yarn like that. You will see in the alpha pattern that we will need to switch yarn. So we work an undone green stitch, and then we're gonna pick up the black yarn, but this time the front of the hat is facing us. So if you pick up it like this, you'll see that the green yarn is right now on top of the black yarn looking from the front of the piece. So change the position of the yarn. And now that the black yarn is on top of the green yarn looking from the front of the piece, we can finish this stitch like so. Gently pull on the green yarn to finish the stitch, and then work a black stitch, but an undone one because we need only 1 black stitch here. Now again, drop the black yarn and pick up the green yarn, making sure that the black yarn is on top of the green yarn. Even if it's like resting or working yarn, it's always need to be on top of the green yarn looking from the front of the piece like so. Finish the stitch. Gently pull on the black yarn to finish it. And look, in the alpha pattern, we're gonna need only 1 green stitch here. So an undone green stitch, bring in the resting yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, drop the green yarn and pick up the black yarn. Make sure that it's on top of the green yarn, looking from the front. Yarn over, pull through to finish the stitch. Gently pull on the green yarn and put it together on the row as the resting yarn. You'll see that we need 2 black stitch. So we work 1 finish stitch like that. And then the next stitch would be an undone double crochet. Now drop the black yarn and pick up the green yarn, still making sure that the black yarn is on top of the green. Yarn over, pull through to finish this stitch. Gently pull on the black yarn to close the stitch. Here we will need 2 green stitches. So 1 finished green stitch and then 1 unfinished green stitch. Drop the green, pick up the black in a way that it's going to be on top of the green. Now finish the stitch by pulling the black yarn, gently pull on the green yarn and bring it with you. Here you will see that we need only 1 black stitch, so 1 unfinished black. Again, drop the black yarn, pick up the green yarn, the black still on top of the green, looking from the front. Finish it, gently pull on the black yarn, and the next one will need only 1 green stitch. So an unfinished green stitch, drop the green yarn, pick up the black yarn, finish the stitch, gently pull on the green, and then work 1 unfinished black stitch, drop the black stitch, pick up the green yarn, but still making sure that the black is on top of the green. Finish the stitch, pull on the black yarn gently, bring it as the resting yarn. You'll see that we need 2 green stitches, so 1 finished green stitch and then 1 unfinished green stitch. Now drop the green yarn, pick up the black, making sure that it's on top of the green, looking from the front. And bring our loop, gently pull to close the stitch. Bring the resting yarn with the stitches. Now we're gonna need 3 black stitches. So work 1 finish, 2 finish, and the third one would be an unfinished stitch. Drop the black stitch and bring up the green stitch, but still making sure that the black is on top. Pull our loop, gently pull on the black yarn. We need 2 green stitches here, so 1 finished green stitch, 1 unfinished green stitch. Pick up the black yarn, pull our loop, gently pull on the green, bring it with the stitches, okay? And then we need 3 black stitches, so 1 finish, another finish, and 1 unfinished. Pick up the green yarn, the black still on top, looking from the front. Pull our loop, gently pull on the black to close the stitch, and then work 2 more green stitch with the black yarn as the resting yarn. Drop the black yarn. Make sure that you drop it at the back side of the piece. So like that, not in the front of the piece, okay? And that's how it should look like until now. Double crochet into each stitch across with the green yarn. So here we are, let's pick up this black yarn and work a green stitch in here. Now looking at the alpha pattern, we're gonna need 1 more finished green stitch and then an unfinished green stitch so that this next stitch will be black. Pick up the black yarn but making sure that it's on top of the green yarn looking from the front of the piece. Bring our loop, gently pull on the green and work because we need only 1 black stitch here. Drop the black yarn and pick up the green yarn, making sure that it's on top of the green yarn looking from the front. Pull our loop, gently pull on the black yarn, bring it with you. And now we need 2 green stitch, so 1 finish, 1 unfinished. Drop the green yarn, pick up the black yarn, still on top of the green looking from the front. Bring our loop, gently pull on the green yarn, and we need only 1 black, so an unfinished stitch. Drop the black stitch to the front, bring up the green stitch, bring our loop, gently pull on the black yarn, bring it with you. We now need 3 green stitches, so 1 finish, 2nd finish, and a unfinished 3rd stitch. Drop the green yarn, pick up the black yarn, still on top of the green yarn, like so. Gently pull on the green, and we need only 1 black, so an unfinished, like that. Again, drop the black yarn, bring up the green yarn, bring our loop, gently pull. Now we need 2 green, so 1 finish and 1 unfinished, like so. Drop the green yarn, pick up the black, bring the green with you, make a loop, gently pull on the green, and we need 2 black, so 1 finish and another unfinished. Drop the black yarn, pick up the green yarn, pull our loop, gently pull on the black yarn, bring it with you, and now we need only 1 green, so an unfinished green. Drop, pick up, still on top, gently pull on the green, and then again only 1 black. Drop the black, pick up the green, pull on the black yarn gently, 2 stitches of green yarn, so 1 finish, one unfinished. Drop the green, pick up the black. Gently pull on the green. Work, we need 2 black stitches here, so one finish, one unfinished. Drop the black, pick up the green. Pull through, gently pull on the black. Bring it with you and work 2 more green stitches. Drop the black yarn, but make sure that you drop it on the wrong side of the piece, okay? So not on the front like this. If you drop it on the front and just work double crochet like this, it's gonna stick out in the front of the piece, which we don't want. So you want to drop it in the wrong side of the piece and then finish the round with double crochet into each stitch across with the green yarn. That is the last row of the alpha pattern, and that is how it should look like. You can already cut this black yarn, but remember to leave a long enough tail to weave in later, like so. Then remember to put it in the wrong side of the piece, okay? And I'm just going to finish this row with the green. So here you can see that I just add 2 more rows here, and that's how much I need. You can add more or less as you wish. In case you wanted it to have like a roll-up brim, like so, you're gonna need to make like maybe, here I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and a row of half double crochet, but I do feel like this brim it's a little too short, so maybe a 6 row of double crochet and then 1 row of half double crochet will do. So yeah, it's all up to you. For this one, I don't want the brim, so I'm just gonna bind off right here. You insert the hook. You join the round with a slip stitch just as usual, and to bind off we chain 1. Bring that loop out, and then we can cut, but remember to leave a long enough tail to weave in, okay? Bring that loop and tighten the knot. And that's it. Now we're gonna need to properly weave all the ends in, and it's very important that we do this the right way. So let me just show you on how to do it with this black one, okay? You're gonna put the yarn into the needle. So you want to do it on the wrong side of the piece. Also make sure that you don't run it right back to where it come from. You can put it here, like so. And don't pull too hard because it might pull the stitches together. And then you're gonna weave it into the stitches of the same color. And the trick is not to go in a straight line, but you can twist the yarn with the stitches, go up and down, right to the left. Remember to not pull too hard on the needle because it might bunch the stitches up. And remember to stretch the piece once in a while after a few pull, just to reposition the tail. Just go for a few more times to make sure that it's really stay into the piece. Maybe I'm just gonna go up one more time and go down one more time. Like that, okay? Stretch the piece and don't pull too hard on the tail. Like so. And once you feel like it's good enough, you can cut close to where it sticks out, but be careful not to cut the stitches, okay? Stretch the piece out one more time, making sure that it's not affecting negatively on the letters. Now I will show you how I do this one. So the one in the middle, let's put it in the back side of the piece, okay? Just to make sure that the right side is clean. Here in this one, you can just put the tail into the ring, this ring, okay? So just put it around the ring for like a few times. Stretch the piece and then you can cut it. So if you look closely here, there's a little problem. As you can see, the resting black yarn is kind of sticking out of the stitches. And this is because we didn't really do a good job pulling the resting yarn while working these green stitches. As you can see on this one, I did a really good job, so there's no problem at all in the front and also in the back. right? But in case you got into the same problem as me, here I will show you how to fix it. We're gonna do it in the wrong side of the piece. Okay, and you wanna do this near this tail. You wanna catch the resting yarn that was sticking out of the stitches and pull on them. Like that. And make sure that you pull just enough. Don't pull too hard because it might ruin the fabric. Just enough so that the resting yarn will no longer visible inside the stitches. And also try to even it out like that. Then you can put this tail into the needle and then catch these two yarn like so. And then you're just gonna weave this tail into the stitches just the same way as I showed you before, gently, making sure that it won't interfere with the front side of the piece. And after you weave the tail in, cut it off, everything should be fine.